Hey everybody, this is hopefully to be the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Joint Powers Authority meeting today.
That you love someone else
Okay.
instead. I heard through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine. Oh, I heard through the
That's interesting.
grapevine. And I'm just about to lose my mind.
Let me do something.
Well,
Hold on a second, folks. Let me do
camera.
That's wild. Oh, I can kill that one. There's a different setup. And you heard it through the grapevine, right?
say anything but what you see. Sun and none of what you hear.
Let me see here.
But I can't
Yep, that's the JPA meeting.
if it's true, please tell me.
Just got it. Okay.
Do you let me go?
Hold on a second. Yeah, they're late getting started. This is a different setup. This is the right room because that's Aaron Roseman. Okay. So, yeah. There's Renee there. Okay, it's a different setup, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. View on YouTube. Here.
And I heard through the grapevine. Ooh, heard through the grapevine.
You heard it through the grapevine. Now, hold on a second. Let me try something here. If I can. Audio settings. Okay, I had to kill that for the time being because I don't. That's copyrighted music. I don't know why they're playing it. If maybe it's to discourage recording or something like that. Whatever the case, I've nipped that in the bud. So, and they're late. All right. So let's see here. Hold on a second. They're also late to get started here by a bunch. Okay. This is up. Now let me see if I can put it over on Oakland. The other place. I don't see a quorum, folks. Do you? I don't. Good morning. Nope, I do not see one as of yet. Let me post this here. And then let me go back and post it over at Lake Neighbors live stream like that. Boom. Okay, there's that over there. I don't see anybody taking seats at all. We are late getting started. Late. Hi, Barry Lee. How are you? The JPA is late getting started. And I put that on mute because they had music going that would trigger a copyright issue in YouTube. So I had to kill that one. I may have to deal with what little was there and clip it out later, which is fine. But okay, now let me see here. Monetization is on here. On the agenda, among other things, is the Oakland Roots Soccer. All right. So, and the WNBA. Two items that the woman standing up with the face mask on and wearing the sweater, Oakland at-large council Rebecca Kaplan has had her signature on, if you will, for want of a better term. So I have mentioned the agenda items. I don't know why they're late, but well, they're late because there's no quorum. There's no quorum. So they're having this. I don't even know if that's publicly accessible where they're at. This new place. Let's see here. Maybe. Hello, everybody. How you doing? They haven't even announced a new. They're late getting started. They haven't even announced a new this new venue. Normally, they would be in. Let's see. Is the land very valuable real estate for any business? I don't understand what you're saying. You're speaking in half sentences. Is what land? Hey, let me put this. Barry Lee, good morning. How are you doing? Salute to you. And then, is the land very valuable real estate for any business? What land is that you're talking about? That's a left field question. To which I refuse to provide a left field answer. So I just gave you the direct answer. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay. All right. No idea. No idea whatsoever. Okay. Oakland Coliseum land. Of course it is. I mean, why would you ask that? I mean, it's right off the Nimitz. It is a mile from the Oakland airport, and arguably directly connected to it if you consider the Oakland airport connector that starts at BART, which basically runs over Coliseum land to get to the airport, and it's approximately 108 acres on a bad day. So I mean, I don't understand why you would ask such a question. But you know what? The only bad question there is a question you don't ask. So, if you don't live in Oakland, I think it's a reasonable question to ask. Yes, it's very valuable land for any business. And prior to the pandemic, and going all the way back to when the Raiders were leaving for Las Vegas, the Oakland City Council had made loud noise about wanting to sell the Coliseum land to a tech investor if the Raiders are going to move, which I thought was a lousy idea because Oakland has shown and turned a complete blind eye to the manufacturing, incentives, convention, and entertainment industries, MICE industries, which explains why Oakland has an inadequate number of hotels, why we have no playhouse, why we do not have an active organization to promote entertainers and entertainment in Oakland, unlike many other cities, be they government established or private, we don't pay attention to industries which really define or help to define and communicate the culture of a city, let alone a region or a state. Okay. We just let them happen, you know. Anyway, getting back to what you see at the JPA, this is late. It is now 11:42. Let me see if there's a volume here. I don't hear anything. Well, I mean, I don't hear anything because I turned the sound down, which is why I don't hear anything. But then I, but they had music going, and they still have music going. Okay, they still have it going. So I'm gonna, and I'm not going to play that music because, again, it's involves a copyright. So they're late getting started. And as you can see Henry there gesturing, he's off to the extreme left. But there's nobody there. Now, I thought they were going to go remote. The problem is that I know what the problem is, folks. And I don't know why they did this. This meeting was supposed to be remote. The agenda said so. So why are they setting up a meeting? What was supposed to be a remote meeting. All right. They've got it on Zoom right now. And yet they've got this physical setup too, which makes no sense whatsoever. None. They could have done this whole thing on Zoom and let that be that. But they haven't done that. So, I do remember an agenda, excuse me, I do remember a board meeting where they took a vote to have both. In other words, in-person meeting, but also on Zoom. And that's this. But what I'm talking about is the actual agenda for this meeting that was let and is available online, and is also here. It reads remote. They're expecting remote attendance by Commissioner David Halbert, Commissioner Chuck Baker, Commissioner George Ucason Jr., and Commissioner Chris Iglesias. They're expected to be the remote attendees. Okay, that's what this is. That's what this reads here. But right now there are no attendees. All right, and if I go back to my Zoom, I can't see anybody. I'm going to write in chat. The chat is disabled. You disabled the chat. Q&A. Okay. Hey, we are late. Okay, now they're here. All right, I believe we're getting somewhere. Hold on a second. Let me see if they turned off the music. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Nate's sitting down. And Rebecca. Super late. Super late. Super late is what I wrote. Super late. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Now we're starting.
All right.
We're going to go open forum. So my hand. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're starting,
Do we have
folks.
quorum? So we have
I think we do. 1, 2, 3, yes.
Okay.
All right, we're starting.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I think that means we're being heard.
Recording in progress.
Uh-huh.
All right. Thank you. And thank you everyone who worked to set up all the technology and cameras and microphones to enable us to have this meeting. Thank you for coming to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Authority Board meeting. And with that, we can call the meeting to order.
Thank you. Welcome to the meeting of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Authority, Friday, May 19th, 2023 at 8:47 a.m. If members of the public would like to speak on items when the time to address items on the agenda is announced, you will be prompted to raise your hand so that we may see the number of speakers in the queue. We will note the last name in the container before we take comments. The host will call the identifiers of each raised hand one by one to allow comment. Please do not raise your hand before the invitation to speak. The host will lower the hands of those who raised their hands before the invitation. All members of the public at the time of the announcement will have the opportunity to comment on the agenda items. Members of the public will also have the opportunity to comment on items not on this agenda at the end of the meeting during open forum. During roll call, to limit background noise, please remain muted until your name is called, unmute to respond, and then remute immediately after your response. Thank you. On roll call for today's meeting, please respond present when your name is called. Commissioner Baker.
Present. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, thank you.
Morning.
Commissioner Halbert.
Present. And I request a copy of that playlist from earlier this morning. It was great.
Thank you. Commissioner Iglesias. Commissioner Iglesias. Commissioner Jenkins is excused. Commissioner Thompson.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Vukasin.
Present.
Vice Chair Miley.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Kaplan.
Here.
That is 6 present.
Thank you all so much. So noting that we do have a quorum present, we will go ahead and proceed. And again, thank you. We have some of our members are on the Zoom and some of us are here in the room. So thank you everyone for working to set that up. So now we will go to open forum.
For members of the public wishing to speak on items not on this agenda, please raise your hand. And after your name is called, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My hand is up. My hand is up. My hand is up. The chat's disabled.
I see 2 members with their hands raised. So the first person in the container is Zinni Abraham.
Good morning, everyone. Zinni Abraham, Zinni 62 Media. In May of 1999, I started the Oakland Alameda County Sports Commission on a bet against Dina McClain and the city attorney that I could get federal approval. Within 4 months, I did so. We came to within 8 NFL votes of bringing the 2005 Super Bowl to Oakland that Jacksonville won. However, when I returned, I discovered that simply because the board that I started went to the JPA then, the JPA took an action of no action in allowing the NFL to sign a contract to work with it. I discovered that they were holding senior meetings behind my back. The mayor and also then President Ignacio de la Fuente. And I accused Jerry in an email that perhaps I shouldn't have written, but I wrote it, and now I'm happy that I did, of not being comfortable with a Black person who spoke the Queen's English and talked with intellectual aggression. I was fired when I returned after a successful presentation brought to the city attorney's office, where I was informed that Jerry Brown's action was illegal. They also wiped out an $80,000 grant that Bill Claggett and Greg Hunter, the Economic Development Office, gave to my organization. They said would never exist and I couldn't do, and I couldn't make it. I did it. I say all that to say this. This organization is acting like a sports commission, but it's outside its charter. As the person who started a sports commission, here's an idea. Why don't you actually start a separate sports commission, and then to make up for Jerry Brown's illegal act, put me in charge of it? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person with their hand raised has the last name of Pemberton. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, y'all. My name's Natalia. I use she, her pronouns. I live in District 2 in Oakland. I'm here to ask for your support of the Oakland Roots and Oakland Soul Sports Club as they look to build an interim stadium at the Malibu site in East Oakland. I believe you're talking about that in closed session today. Oakland Roots and Soul, for anyone of you who's been to a game, you know that they're fantastic soccer teams. They're successful, they're fun to watch. They bring a ton of diverse groups of people together. You just look at the function section and you'll see people from all over Oakland, all over the Bay Area, lots of different backgrounds. And it's been a real focal point for the community. And I can understand why some folks in the community might be asking, well, that's great. That's entertainment, that's sports. But what does sports have to do with being a public good in Oakland? And why should we be willing to do this? And, Oakland Roots and Soul, they like to be about it rather than talk about it. So not everybody who follows the club for the sport might know how unique Oakland Roots and Soul is in the US. They put service and benefit to our community in Oakland at the center of everything they do. And the interim stadium at the Malibu site is going to help them continue to bring that joy and social good to Oakland for many years to come. I personally I'm in Oakland because I love Oakland. And part of what I love about Oakland is the community that has allowed this joyful and purposeful sports club to thrive. And so I really urge you as the JPA to please really thoughtfully consider that interim stadium site and approve it so that we can have this very unique experience continue to grow in Oakland for the benefit of all of us in Oakland. Thank you.
I see Henry's face.
At this time, I do not see any additional speakers with their hands raised.
Thank you so much. We can go on to the next item.
Next item, item 4, approval of minutes.
Thank you. Colleagues, are there any questions or a motion on the minutes?
Motion to approve our minutes?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we may call the roll.
Do we need to take public comment?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't see any hands pop up. Are there any public speakers for the minutes?
No.
I do not see anyone in.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Miley?
There's one in the minutes, the paragraph under open forum that starts with requests from Vice Chair Miley. There's a sentence that says the Raiders and wait a minute, Vice Chair Miley mentioned the request was from his own intuition. I think it should be on my own initiative and not intuition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have excellent intuition, but in fact,
Yeah.
this was your initiative. So we're striking the word intuition and replacing it with the word initiative.
Yeah.
On the bottom of the second page of the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Anything further? Okay. And so just to confirm to the maker of the motion, is that moved as amended?
Moved as amended. Thank you.
And to the seconder? Second. Okay, now we may call the roll. Thank you.
I'm having difficulty hearing the secretary. I don't know if the people who are participating remotely can hear clearly.
Can't hear.
Is your mic on, Madam Secretary? No, can't hear you at all.
Test, test. Okay, this one's on.
It's not coming.
I don't think her mic is on. There we go.
All right, thank you.
Very good,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, for item 4, approval of the minutes, Commissioner Harbert moved as amended and Commissioner Thompson seconded. So on the vote, Commissioner Baker, how do you vote?
Vote is aye.
Commissioner Harbert?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Vukasin?
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair Miley?
Aye.
Commissioner Iglesias? Not present. And Commissioner Jenkins is not present. And Chair Kaplan?
Aye.
That is 6 ayes. Next item on the agenda is reports. 5A, Executive Director report.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. This report is the third quarter budget report for the period July 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2023. We would have submitted this report at your last meeting, which was canceled. We will be coming back in May with further updates and in June. And at that time, we'll also be presenting a proposed budget for next fiscal year. Let's see, I think we're going to try to have the Assistant Controller or Craig Boyer to share his screen if he can do that, so that if you do not have access to the paper copy, you'll be able to follow along.
Henry, I don't have the ability to share my screen, so I sent the file to Erin, or she needs to transfer host responsibility to me.
Can we do that, Madam Secretary?
Yes, I'll transfer host.
Okay.
Okay, you should be able to see it on the screen now.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is showing.
Okay. For this current fiscal year, we budgeted for the stadium $20,497,000, and to date, we've received approximately $20 million. This represents about 97% of the stadium budget. This number is skewed because a substantial part of the budget is represented by the city and county's contributions. And because they have made those contributions in full, there'll be no further contributions for the rest of the fiscal year. The A's payment of $1,250,000 is the next largest category. That payment is due, and I think may have in fact now been received, but it's due in April, so it's not showing up in the current third quarter report. The arena revenues were budgeted at $16,229,000, and approximately $16 million of that has been received. The arena is on track to exceed the budgeted revenues for the year. We're feeling very optimistic about that. On the expenditure side, the stadium expenditures are $22,497,000, and approximately $18 million of that has been expended. For the arena, we budgeted 18 million and approximately 11 million has been expended to date. There'll be more arena expenditures as we go through the final quarter. Nonetheless, for both, we expect that the stadium and the arena that we will meet our budget targets. We have made some internal adjustments to the budget line items, but they have no effect on the total expenditures for either the arena or the stadium. We reported to you previously that we have had to adjust the budget internally to deal with huge increases in the utility costs as PG&E, gas and electricity. Those are astronomical. The A's, I'm sorry, the A's, we do charge them back for utility use for their use. However, for the arena and for other activities, those are absorbed in the rental agreements and event agreements that we host. The bottom line is because of under expenditures in other categories, the budget need not be adjusted in its totality. We believe that at the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, that we will have a modest surplus. We're currently projecting that at approximately $4 million. Because we're conservative in our revenues and expenditures, the only way we know how to, any of us know how to manage these budgets, we tend to be as accurate as we can, but we're conservative in estimating the revenues. So the revenues tend to come in slightly higher than what we budgeted, and we're conservative when we estimate expenditures. And so the expenditures generally come in less than we have estimated. And so those two in combination result in a surplus. We have spent the last 9 months working as hard as we can to make sure that not only we stay within budget, but are forever mindful that the reason we're able to have a balanced budget is because of the substantial contributions by the city and the county. Those have been averaging about 10 to 12 million each year. So our objective is twofold. One is to make sure that we stay within the budget, but that we go beyond that and do everything we can to maximize the net revenues, which results in less subsidy coming from the city and the county. And for our non-board members and for the general public, I would tell you again that the city and the county's contributions come from their respective general funds. They do not come from enterprise funds. They don't come from state grants. They don't come from federal grants. They come from the city's general fund and they come from the county's general fund. We know that, we respect that, and we work hard to reduce the reliance on the city and the county's contributions. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much. And I really want to thank you and your entire team for the incredible work that has gone into creating this situation of handling the budget so effectively. My question is, we talked about being able to reduce the city and county share. Is that action included in this item, or would you have that come back at a later date?
No, it's not included in this report. We will come back in June with a proposed budget for next fiscal year. At that time, we'll have a better data on where we are on revenues and expenditures and projecting those out to the end of the year. And at that point, we will have a better estimate of what that surplus might be that we would be recommending be applied to the city and the county's contributions. Right now, we are projecting about $4 million. I will tell you again that we're conservative, so we don't want to set up false expectations, but we are feeling pretty confident that it will be at least 4 million.
Excellent.
We hope it will be more.
And so then that would be included next month in
That's
our
correct.
action item on,
Yes.
on the budget. Thank you so much. To my colleagues, any questions on this item before we check for the public speakers? And actually, I know there are multiple components to your report.
Yes.
Do you prefer that we
the-
take the speakers one by one?
The other items that are on the agenda, some of those will be covered later. Some of them are in closed session. There's no action required on any of them at this point. They're there for your information.
Excellent. Okay, so let us check for public speakers then.
Would this be public speakers for just the budget or for the entire executive
For
director's report?
any section of item 5 that people would like to speak
Yeah,
on.
they can talk about it.
5A.
Sorry, 5A, yes.
Anything in 5A.
Anything in 5A.
So for members of the public wishing to speak on this item 5A, please raise your hand. After your name is called, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. I see 2 members with their hands raised at this time. The first member would be Zenny Abraham.
Thank you.
You're allowed to.
Thank you very much, Ms. Roseman. Thank you. The budget includes a line item regarding naming rights in the arena, which for obvious reasons is blank because there is no naming rights holder. But since Mr. Gardner has mentioned that we have a PG&E bill that's rather exorbitant, here's an idea. Why not approach PG&E and offer them a naming rights deal to basically, hey, in exchange for knocking off charging us for electricity? I mean, I think it's something that they would at least look twice at, if not accept, if we could get them to throw some additional money into it as well. Just an idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next member of the public is has the last name of Lucas Cornwell. You're allowed to speak.
Hi there. I just had a quick question about why the management fees were so much higher than what was budgeted, and was curious if we could get a little, clarity on that.
As I understand the question is
Yes.
why the management fees were increased over the budgeted amount. That is a reflection of what happens in terms of the events that we actually manage and the revenues that we generate from that. Their management fees are tied to that performance. Greg Hatch is here, and if you want further explanation, he can provide that. But generally, it is a reflection of the increased activity over and above what we had budgeted, particularly for the arena.
And so just to make sure we're clear, the expenditure goes up because the revenue also went up because there were more
activities.
events.
Yes.
And so the revenue that went up, would that be in the line called facility fees? Or where does the commensurate revenue increase show in the table? Would you like to?
Let me ask Greg Hatch if he can respond more specifically to that. Greg Hatch is the finance director for AEG.
Good morning. Good morning.
Do you want me to
Greg
come in?
Hatch, Vice President of Finance, ASM Global Oakland. I don't know if you want to bring up the slide that was there. It was a pretty good financial summary that you guys developed. So,
Mr. Boyer, can you share your screen again?
I gave you back host, so you'll need to reassign host to me.
okay, thank you. So in looking at this report, if you'll look at the far right-hand side, projections, I find that probably one of the most useful columns. And as you can see, total revenue projected is 38 million versus a budget of 36 million. The biggest differential in that surplus is coming from facility fee revenue. If you keep that in mind, as you come down to in the expenses, Coliseum operations, the biggest change in expenses between budget and projection is coming from Coliseum operations, which is our operating subsidy. So we've had a very, very successful year throughout the whole year. We have had a huge stadium concert to begin the year with, Bad Bunny. We've had significant concerts at the arena of Daddy Yankee, 17, Kenrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Joe Coy, Rob Wave, Kareem Leon, Mana, SZA, New Edition. Those were some of the more notable concerts that we've had. We've had a tremendous year, and not only we had a tremendous year with the concerts, we've opened up new revenue streams, such as sponsorship, private events, suites. A lot of this revenue came from the Warriors. So what you're seeing in this expenditure line item called Coliseum Operations, we are significantly beating budget due to all that activity. Additionally, that has spun off additional revenues in the area of facility fees, once again, from huge, robust activity of events. Those are your biggest swings in your revenues and expenses.
Thank you. And just to put this into general terms, so while the expenses went up because there were more events to manage, the revenue went up more. Substantially more. And so that even though when you look at the expenditure line, you do see that line up, the revenue went up even more because the additional expense was to manage additional events, and the additional events being successful and more of them are bringing in even more money.
That is correct.
All
And when you look at the management fee line item, yes, we earn a percentage of AEG generated revenues. And of course, that's going to be up because we've got a tremendous amount of events.
Oh, absolutely.
So all in all, you're projecting probably over $4 million surplus in all those line items in aggregate.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, right. So I just want to be clear that the fact that the fees for managing events has gone up is good news, not bad news, because it means events have gone up and the revenue from them went up by more than the extra cost of managing more events.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. That's great. Any other questions from my colleagues on this item?
I see Commissioner Baker with his hand raised.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes, this is a fantastic report. Just very enthusiastic about the art of the possible, what's in the future. Well, my question has to do with where is this accredited, right? Where is this distributed? These management decisions and the ability to get this done. Is this on the who was responsible for this, and how can we continue to support them?
I'm not sure. I'm having difficulty hearing. People were participating remotely.
I mean,
did you hear the question?
Yeah, just to answer the question, I mean, it's really the whole team. I mean, we're like one big chain, and all the pieces have to work. And I mean, Henry's a huge part of that. And Nicole Strange, our general manager, and our booking person, Gretchen Claffey. So it's just a very big, coordinated, tremendous effort to push revenue.
Commissioner Baker, did you have anything further?
No, that's great. I was wondering what role AEG Entertainment had in it, and like just understanding a little bit more about how we book talent, how we, promote the arena so that it is successful, and just the specific roles that each entity plays. I understand the individual contributions within the staff, but also our relationship with all of our partners, just in terms of like, particularly like the promoting elements of it. If we could just talk about that a little bit, just so we're totally clear on what was working.
Okay, I'm going to bring Nicole Strange up and address that.
Good morning. Great question. I can tell you're in marketing yourself. So like Greg was saying, we have an amazing team. Henry's definitely a part of that. We have a marketing arm on our staff and an amazing booker in Gretchen Claffey, like Greg said. But we work with promoters, so Live Nation, AEG, Another Planet, Outback Presents, many promoters, and we have amazing relationships with them. And if you saw the news article in 2022, we had literally our best financial year ever. So that was a launch for us to even do better this year. And honestly, with the Warriors dates coming off of the calendar, we hosted the finals 5 years in a row, and that was about 55, 60 dates that blocked shows. With those dates coming off the calendar, we have more open available dates to now fill them with shows. So that was a huge factor in the success of 2022 and now 23.
I would just add that the team is dozens. You see some of the faces more regularly, and some you have not seen at all. A few of them are sitting here in this auditorium that you have not seen. We have a management leadership team of about 10 people. None of them operate on their own. It is everybody working together collaboratively and remembering what the goal is. And people have been working very hard to achieve that. My role is not substantial in that. Let me be real clear about that. Most of this work is done by Nicole and Greg and Carolyn and, well, the list is too long. What they hear from me is maximize the revenues at these facilities. They have heard this mantra: there is no free. If it is a nonprofit, we make not a dime, and we welcome them, we support them, but they have to cover the cost. If they are for-profit, they have to pay what the market requires them to pay. And so that's what they hear from me. I'm in conversation with Nicole and her team every day. Somebody wants some bargain, and I tell them there is none. Not if it's for profit. There is no bargain. We try to be reasonable in what we charge for these events. We realize we're in a competitive market. I remember Chris Wright, Nicole's predecessor, and I, when I first came here, I was very concerned about the Warriors having left, the Raiders having left. And I remember something he said to me. He said, well, yeah, that's going to be a challenge. He said, but Oakland is really positioned to capture a lot of this market. And we need to step up our marketing because we now have these available dates. And I remember he said that, we've got the transportation, we've got the parking, we've got BART, we've got AC Transit. It's easy to get here. We have lots of good parking, and our prices are competitive. We know we can't charge what they charge over at Taj Mahal, but we're not free either. And we tell everybody who comes knocking on the door, no, there is no free.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you to the whole team. Great job, and appreciate this report. And just so we are clear, this is not an action item today. Today is an information report, and next month we'll have an action item. Right. So again, to clarify for members of the public, if you wish to speak on anything under 5A, Executive Director Report, now is the time. I believe we have one or two further speakers at this time.
Yes, I see City Abraham with his hand raised. Mr. Boyer, can you manage? Thank you.
Still not raised. Hello? Nope.
You're now host again, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you, Zenny Abraham, Zenny 62 Media, also Adams Point resident. The Black Producers Collective has a complaint against Live Nation, which they are discussed fashioning into a lawsuit because they claim that nationwide, Live Nation is freezing them out of venues, including the Oakland Coliseum. I'd like to know what focus there has been in drawing performers that are under the umbrella of the Black Producers Collective, or if you're even aware of the Black Producers Collective, I would hope you are. Lionel B., an Oakland resident, is a member of the organization. Thank you.
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know if Nicole or any of her team members have.
So we're just
I'm not aware of the lawsuit, but we work with all promoters equally, and we welcome everyone with open arms. We have booked many shows with the Black Promoters Collective, and if Gretchen Claffey is on the line, she could list out what recent shows that we've had with that particular promoter.
Well, it's not a promoter, actually.
Thank you for doing that, and thank you, Zenny, for raising it. Okay, and with that, we go back to the executive director for the rest of your report.
The other items are simply on there for information. So if there are speakers who want to speak to those, they may We have the report.
I believe we've now taken all the speakers. Okay, yes, we've taken all the speakers. Did you have anything else to add at this time?
I do not.
Okay.
Except to, well, Nicole is next, I think. So as she's approaching for her management report, again, to commend her and the entire team for the incredible work that they do. I absolutely cannot keep up with the Gretchen, I think maybe on, I can't keep up with Gretchen's list of events that are coming up. Since we've been sitting here, she will have sent 2 more. They are really just, they're doing a crackerjack job.
Absolutely. And Mr. Vice Chair Miley has a question at this time.
Yeah, excuse me, a little slow this morning. Haven't had any coffee yet. So still waking up. But under 5A3. So if I'm reading this correctly, are we on a path to get a WNBA team? Because it seems like, because it says they are confident Oakland will be designated for a WNBA franchise.
That there will be a WNBA franchise?
There will be.
The pursuit is, they're feeling very confident that there will be. Oakland has not yet been designated, but my understanding is we're on a very, very short list and we should be well positioned. And Alana Beard and her group are feeling very confident that it's going to happen.
Well, I think this is great between Roots and the WNBA team. Hey, this has been wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you, Commissioner Miley, who also was our commission chair last year when this work started. So thank you for your leadership in also getting us going in these directions, because as under 5A 2 and 3, they cover both the work to bring soccer to this facility and to bring WNBA to this facility. And I want to say that is with the hard work of our team here, who has been meeting with the WNBA group and going over details to help them with their submission. And we also have a very engaged public that is very excited to have WNBA here. And we are on, as has been pointed out, on the freeway, on the BART, on the Capitol Corridor, at the airport. And we have this wonderful facility here that is ready to host basketball. And we also have a soccer team that has been selling out their games, playing the Roots and now also the Soul soccer team. So it is a very positive opportunity for us to generate excitement and revenue and jobs for this facility.
And goodwill.
And goodwill, thank you. And I'll just comment, because I know we'll be dealing with it in more detail later, that I also think it's an important opportunity to ensure that the workforce that works here will continue to have jobs into the future, and that the revenue continues to come in, but also the positivity and the energy and the excitement that these both opportunities generate, I think, are very important and positive for us. So thank you for that. And with that, we may go to the general manager report.
Thank you. And just to answer that last question, the shows that we've had this year alone with BCP are New Edition, Mary J. Blige, Maxwell, and a comedy tour, and more to come.
Awesome. Thank you.
The shows that have been added since our last meeting, which has been a couple months, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, May 26, 2023. Grupo Frontera, May 28th. Mamamoo, June 2nd. Twice, June 12th and 13th. Erykah Badu, June 21st. Alicia Keys, August 1st. Lil Baby, August 6th. Greta Van Fleet, August 8th. One that get announced this week, Lil Durk, September 1st. Archangel, September 7th. Christian Nodal, October 1st. Romeo Santos, October 7th. Maneskin, October 13th. Disney on Ice, October 19th through the 22nd. Atif Aslam, November 3rd. Gabriel Iglesias, November 17th. And the new date for Kapil Sharma is July 22nd. It was rescheduled from last July. A couple other miscellaneous items I just wanted to bring to your attention. On June 26, the Oakland Arena and Oakland Alameda County Coliseum had the incredible opportunity to partner with Alameda County Social Services Agency to host the Fair Chance Job and Resource Fair. In observance of the U.S. Justice Department's National Second Chance Month, this event was created to support the transition of individuals who were formerly incarcerated back into the workforce and give them an opportunity for a fresh start. A total of 850 job seekers were in attendance for this job fair, with more than 80 employers and Bay Area businesses present. Attendees were offered free haircuts by Bay Area barbers and styled by hairstylists in preparation for their on-the-spot interviews. In marking of each job offer that was received, a bell was rang. Notably, 22 job offers were received the day of the event, along with 7 subsequent job offers a few days after the event. Additionally, job offers are still being made. This event was over in the East Side Club of the stadium, and it was packed. It was amazing.
And we make no money from that. We welcome these kinds of activities. That's one of the uses of the facility, and I cannot think of a better one than the one she just highlighted.
Thank you.
Another event I wanted to highlight, on April 25th, we hosted a showcase, which was an opportunity for Oakland Arena and Oakland Alameda County Coliseum to welcome prospective private event clients, sponsorship clients, media partners, and community leaders. Over 30 local event companies participated in creating an environment that inspired and excited guests about the opportunity to host an event at the arena and the Coliseum. There were DJs and bands, photo booths, magicians, dancers, and lawn games. Guests were taken on a walk down memory lane through the use of musical genres that started with the 60s, an ode to the building breaking ground through the music of today, and in between, highlighting the vibrancy and richness of the Oakland culture, music, and artistry. Sustainability was on display, with the LEED Silver certification being highlighted, the new 3-stream waste bins implemented, and recyclable and compostable wares were used. Guests toured through the Coliseum, lounged on Championship Plaza, and explored the arena. It was an amazing event. I have a video that I'll share out to you later today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Commissioner Miley.
Were any commissioners invited to that?
Everyone was invited.
Did any commissioners make it?
I saw past commissioners.
Okay.
One more that happened this week. The AEG Oakland Community Foundation partnered with Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary to celebrate Read Across America, where over 900 brand new educational books were donated to students. Read Across America is an annual reading motivation and awareness program that calls for every child in the community to celebrate reading. ASM Global Oakland staff were able to join for the event, passed out books to the students, staff shared their educational journey, and ultimately celebrated the importance of literacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for all the good news about all the progress. Much appreciated. And also to Commissioner Miley's point about the involvement in the commissioners, if that information about event hosting abilities here, if that could be sent out to all of us, because we could share that around as well.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you. Public speakers.
For members of the public wishing to speak on this item, please raise your hand. After your name is called, you will have 2 minutes to speak. At present, I see Zenny Abraham with his hand raised. You're unmuted and allowed to speak.
Thank you, Zenny Abraham. I'm concerned that while the information is fantastic, there's no posting of this on any commonly recognized website, which can include a social media component. So it's compartmentalized, and it comes up in the middle of a board meeting as if it's almost defensive. Well, it is defensive. So I'm asking, can we alter this so that we actually communicate with the public what's going on, because I got just this morning a question, well, from a viewer saying, hey, the Coliseum land isn't worth anything, is it? I'm thinking, seriously? You have no idea what's going on here. And this is one reason why people have no idea, or they have this perception that it's not worth anything. They don't know what's going on. They don't know the value of what this gigantic device we have that's worth multi-billions of dollars produces. And we have to begin to communicate that. And I'm really demanding, actually, that we change this state of affairs so that all this information is put out in a more aggressive fashion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent suggestions, which I see the team nodding. Awesome. So we'll make sure that that's on the website and shared around. Thank you. Are there any further public speakers?
I see Ray Bobbitt with his hand is raised. You're.
Hi, I just wanted to, yes, thank you for allowing me to speak. I also just wanted to recognize the staff, Nicole, Chris, Henry, for allowing for the Castle Mountain High School architectural class to come on March 8th and do soil samples, do a site visit at the arena and stadium. They are working on their vision from the standpoint of young people that live in this community of the Coliseum. They actually have a showcase for their family and friends on the 24th at Castle Mountain High School from 12:30 to 2, where they'll be showcasing their designs that they worked on as a result of their visit to the site. And just wanted to say that it's an incredible thing to watch the staff at the Coliseum work and how great they are with the war with the young people, and just how great of an event it was for them to be able to actually get a tour and to work on the designs that they care so much about. This venue and this site means so much to so many people. So when it gets opened up to the public that way, we do want to recognize the fact that Chris and Nicole and Henry and their entire staff do an incredible job at welcoming the public, and this is just such an important asset for our community. And so I just wanted to recognize that to make sure that that the staff gets the proper recognition for working in alignment with the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Any other speakers?
There are no other speakers in the queue with their hand raised.
Thank you so much. That concludes our general manager report, I believe. Okay. I know we had agendized a discussion of teleconference meetings, but I do think the issues that we needed to resolve have been resolved in terms of figuring out this system that we will continue to use so that we can have those who can come and those who can't can be on the Zoom. Thank you for setting all this up. I know we do have several items to discuss in closed session. So let me just say, is there anything that you felt that we needed to cover on the teleconference? I know we talked it through a bunch last time. I think we've got
one sentence. We did send out to all of the commissioners, and we will continue to send them out for each board meeting, the requirements in order to participate remotely. You have those, and we will send them out ahead of time so that if you're not able to attend in person, there are certain mandatory requirements that you have to meet in order to participate remotely.
Thank you so much. And just so that everybody is clear, you'll see on your agenda, it lists the remote attendance of several of the commissioners on the face of the agenda and their remote participation location. And so commissioners, if you wish to teleconference to future meetings, please make sure to share that with the team ahead of time, preferably at least a week ahead of time, so that they can properly account for that and record that and post that as required to make sure that we don't have any problems. But thank you for setting this up. Commissioner Miley.
Yes, I don't want to prolong this, but don't you have to have a quorum of the body here to allow for remote participation? You need to do that.
There are three different ways in which teleconferencing can be permitted. the requirements vary. For the manner in which commissioners identified remote participation today, what was required was that there be a quorum who participate within the jurisdiction of the county. They need not all have been in the same space for under that particular teleconference. So when we were checking for a quorum, if you see on the agenda, 2 of the commissioners were not participating from within the county, so we could not count them as part of the quorum. Under the other 2 options that would allow remote participation, you do need a quorum in the same singular location in order for those commissioners to participate remotely.
Thank you. And just to be clear, under the method that was originally described, it requires that a quorum only has to be in the county, but not in the building. It does require that those be posted ahead of time. So in order to make sure we don't be unable to have a meeting for lack of quorum, commissioners wanting to do so, please do let the team know ahead of time so that they can post the locations on the agenda. And thank you, by the way, to the folks at the back of the room who handled the tech and the sound so that we could do this and interact both with those here and those remote, everybody hearing each other. So we are preparing to go into closed session. So actually, speaking of teleconference, for the closed session, we're going to a different room, but for those participating remotely, do they need to log off and log back in on a different link? How are we bringing the Zoom people into the closed session?
When the meeting adjourns into closed session, there is a separate Zoom meeting for the closed session.
Okay, so they're going to log into a different link, the board members.
Could you please resend that link?
Okay, did you hear that was a request from Commissioner Halbert? Maybe if you could just send it to all the commissioners, the separate link for the closed session Zoom?
Yes, we'll send it.
Okay, and so to be clear to members of the public, closed session means a private meeting for only the commissioners, typically to talk about confidential matters like litigation or real estate under state law in California. And so we will be closing out this section of the meeting and then having a closed session meeting, which will be on a different Zoom link. However, I believe we are required to take public comment prior to adjourning into closed session.
Are we adjourning into closed session or recessing into closed session?
Council, Commission Chair Kaplan, just if I may interject for just 1 second, and this may answer the question that was just asked. You need to go through on the public agenda and just, for the record, discuss, note each of the items that will be discussed and read the notation that's on the actual agenda.
Right.
Okay. So we have to read out what is printed on the agenda. That would be the first time that's been ruled to be a requirement.
Well,
but it's public.
Okay. Yes. That's my understanding. That's my understanding. This is Jamila. That's my understanding from Andrea, who's not on.
Jamila, I'm not familiar. Who are you? Who are you with?
Jamila is from the City Attorney's Office.
Okay.
She's co-counsel with the JPA.
Yes,
okay,
sorry, Andrea's not here. She's normally the person who would be giving these directions.
Okay,
and
we do have county counsel here.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, you do? Okay, I can't see.
Counsel.
I'm sorry.
And that was me who spoke regarding the quorum issue. I am not familiar that there is a requirement to verbally read out the item on the agenda.
Well, in an abundance of caution, in an abundance of caution, I will note that we are preparing to go into closed session on conference with legal counsel. Items include initiation of litigation, includes conference with real property negotiators regarding 8001 South Coliseum Way and 7000 Coliseum Way, and to discuss price and terms of payment. The items are all listed on the publicly posted agenda. And so now we will just double check if there are any public speakers prior to going into closed session.
And before you get to the public speakers, I did want to make a correction to one statement that you made when you said that the closed session was only for the commissioners.
I apologize.
Yeah, yeah.
And the attorneys and the managers.
It's for, as defined in the Brown Act. Closed sessions can be held for specified purposes, and some of them do require that for the commissioners to meet in closed session. It's for a purpose that includes advice from their legal counsel to meet with their real property negotiators. So it's for commissioners and designated staff, based on the reason for the closed session.
Thank you so much. Thank you for making that clear. I apologize. I just meant to explain that it's not for the public, but you are correct. It's for the commissioners, the attorneys, and the relevant staff. Okay. Any public speakers at this time?
At this time, I see one member of the public, Zenny Abraham, with his hand raised. You're allowed to speak.
Yeah. Thank you, Zenny Abraham here. Before you go into closed session, I'd like to call for a business plan to be written regarding how the Coliseum Joint Powers Authority operates for the future. Last time we had one, it was Ezra Report wrote one in 1996, and I still have a copy of it. But I'm concerned that, particularly with the loss of the A's, we do things in a piecemeal way. We don't have a listed organizational path of how we're supposed to do everything from establishing max increment financing zone within, say, the Coliseum, which we can do, to going after naming rights of candidates or anything else. But we need to work on professionalizing what we do because it's become over politicized. Rebecca, you should not be the only person behind the WNBA. You shouldn't be out there politically by yourself. That should be a shared effort. And it really is, basically, but it should be formally shared. So I'm concerned that we're continually making the same mistakes. We don't turn around and evaluate what we're doing or where we're going. We just do them. And I'm really begging for a cessation to that kind of behavior. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Zenny, for your stalwart advocacy for more effective use of sports in our economy. And I would just note, of course, that our team has been working very, very hard on the WNBA matter as well. Thank you so much. With that, I would undertake a motion to adjourn into closed session.
Are we adjourning or recessing? Yeah.
Oh, because we have to come back and report out.
Yes.
Okay, then we will recess into closed session. Do we need a vote on that or we just go? Okay, thank you all very much. We will now cease this public portion of this meeting for now. Thank you.
Okay, so that public portion of the meeting is done. Let me get them out of here before they start with that doggone music stuff again. Because, hold on a second. Let me, audio settings. Kill that. Done. Okay, that's done. All right. So that's done. And that's adjourned. Okay. But as you can see, they're going in now to have their closed session. And what they'll do is after closed session, that's it. That's it. Okay. So you might be wondering, okay, what did we just see here? Well, let's do a summary. First of all, we didn't really get to Oakland Roots Soccer on the agenda. It was there, but they didn't come up. And I should have asked why. I was there for other matters, but if we take a look at, I'm going to pull up the agenda now. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can stop the screen and take a review of it. And call up that board package. There it is. All right. There's that. Okay. And then I'll go over to the package itself and then I'll scroll down so we can see what we've gone through. We've gone to call to order, roll call, open forum, approval of minutes, reports. We got the executive director's report, including a great budget report, although that's another story. I would like to see an idea where we're at, where we should be in terms of our capacity, not just, within our capacity. Oakland Roots Soccer request for temporary use of parking lot C. All right. That's on the agenda, but we didn't really flesh out the report where that was. So we know there's this request. And then we had the discussions regarding the management consulting firm and the general manager's report. Okay. So if we scroll down here, excuse me, that was the meat of it. That was the meat of what was supposed to be done. Okay. The teleconference meetings you heard, now they're going into closed session. Okay. And so what happens is after closed session, all right, you're supposed to have a report from council on closed session and then adjournment. But 8 and 9, they really actually never do. They come out and they'll say meeting is adjourned. But council, I have never seen council actually do that. Well, no, excuse me. Once they did. Once. They came out and said there was nothing to report, gone. So chances are they're not going to do that this time around. Now, if we get to the actual reports below hand, all right, past the minutes and everything, and I have to go through my minutes to see, because I think there's something I saw that was a little bit nagging. But anyway, you saw this third quarter budget report, the Oakland Roots Soccer request, okay, talking about, what they can accommodate and everything. And they said that there are several operational management and security issues that need to be addressed in any agreement, all this. Okay, this is resuscitation of what we already know, but they didn't explain where we were. All right. So this is almost like nothing's been done, nothing's happened. The Oakland Roots ought to be in the Coliseum. Period. End of story. The Oakland Roots ought to be in the Coliseum. And there ought to be a report, even if they can't be there. There should be a detailed report explaining why, because the city needs every event that it can claim for naming rights and sponsorships and everything else. All right. So, okay. So it shouldn't, the Malibu Lot is challenged by the flood issue. There's no discussion of that. Okay. Anyway, with discussions, management consulting, we had some of that, but that was it. That was it. There was very little presentation at all. Very little presentation. And resulting in a week. This is really a week. I'm not, I don't say that to insult anybody, but I am concerned that the organization and everything that we do related to sports in Oakland is piecemeal, and it's not professional. And we allow this, and then we wonder why the Warriors are gone, the Raiders are gone, the A's are trying to leave. I say gone, because this has gone on for a year plus. I don't care the difficulties the Athletics are having right now because of messaging or whatever. Las Vegas will make them straighten that out. That is not my concern. I'm concerned about Oakland and this constant piecemeal, unprofessional, all over the place, haphazard kind of look that we seem to insist on maintaining. We've got to stop it. I don't know what it takes. We don't do any review. Nothing. We've got to stop this sort of thing. Okay. Well, by the way, they're still in the room. Take a look at this, folks. I was about to shut this down, but look, they're still in the room. Let me show you something. They still have the room going. So let me show you what's going on here. See here, I'm gonna show that. All right. See, he's still there. Right? They're still in the room. So the meeting, technically, the meeting is adjourned, but the use of the room has not stopped, because you still have this camera going. They still have it going, right? So let's just keep it running. We'll keep this running, and let's see what happens. And while that's going, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go and to the next room and check on something. But I want to see this run. I want to see where this goes. I have my phone here. I'm going to monitor this. I just want to see what they do with this, you know? Because that's interesting. That they would have that going. So here is the meeting on the phone. All I have to do is push the button. And yeah. So the three of you watching right now, I guess. No, more than that. Hey, everybody. How you doing? But look. This is your JPA at work in closed session, but see what they're going to do is come out. So let's just keep this. Now the meeting ended by the host. Aha. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Someone said, "Oh my God, Zinni still got it." Yes, I do. All right, folks. So they've ended that meeting. So let's see. Now we're not good. They're not, which means that because they shut the camera off, that means we're not going to get a report from closed session. As I told you, that means we're not going to see them officially adjourn the meeting in accordance with the agenda, because the agenda calls for adjournment afterward. So that has to be worked out, because technically the JPA is not acting in accordance with its own agenda. All right. They should have kept that running and then let everybody come out and then adjourned it. Because look at what this says. Look at this. All right. The board package is quite clear. Let me call it up for you right now. All right. The board package is very clear. It reads like this. Okay. Let me allow that. That's the numbers part. Now let me go back to the board package itself. Scroll. Okay. Back up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Right here. Excuse me, that's minutes. Come on. Zinni, stop being an idiot. Right here. All right. See, they went into closed session here, right? This is where they are. They shut down the meeting on Zoom. They shut it down for the public. But then closed session goes, and then it implies they're coming out of closed session to file a report and then adjourn. So they didn't operate this properly. Okay? It said the meeting is closed. That's what they did. They said they ended the public portion of the meeting, but what this implies is that they're going to reestablish the public portion of the meeting, which they didn't actually say they were going to do. Right? Right? That's a problem. This is what I'm talking about. You know, this is not adhering to what you write, not understanding the importance of adhering to a rule. If you like a rule of law, we just do things. You know, we do things because we feel like doing them. We got to stop that. We've been off 1 hour and 23 minutes, and so for me, schedule-wise, that ends this broadcast. And I want to thank everybody for joining, and I hope you're taking copious notes of what's going on here toward a better Oakland. All right, subscribe to Zinni62 YouTube and bookmark Oakland News Now blog.com and Zinni62.com and OaklandNewsOnline.com. Thank you. That is this broadcast. And this appears on each of our blogs automatically in Zinni62 Media's great system, Zinni62 Media Incorporated, Delaware Corporation. Thank you.